Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. Today we're checking out 25 weird British laws you won't believe actually exist.
Since they've been around for hundreds of years, it would make sense Britain would have a few weird laws. Of course, when they don't revoke old laws still in the books, it creates a headache for everyone. Lawyers, judges, and politicians have to sift through tons of antiquated laws, and citizens potentially could be penalized for it. While some of these laws have been removed, you might be surprised to hear many others have not. Curious to hear more?
Yeah.
I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 weird British laws you won't believe actually exist.
All right, F me up, Mike. Great drum sound.
25. Thanks
25.
to Prerogativa Regis 1322, all whales and sturgeons found in the United Kingdom belong to the Crown. 24.
Okay.
Under an 1839 law, it's illegal to knock on someone's door and walk away. That includes ringing a doorbell without excuse. 23.
Hang on, what?
According to ringing a law, it's illegal to knock on someone's door and walk away. That includes ringing a doorbell without excuse. 23.
That's strict.
According to the Metropolitan Police Act 1839, it's illegal to be drunk at a bar or keeper of a public house to permit drunkenness on premises. 22.
Yeah,
Until
what?
1976, the UK had a law that required all cars to carry at least one bale of hay. It was initially written for horse-drawn carriages.
It required all cars to carry at least one bale of hay or to be able to. I can't tell what he's saying.
6. The UK had a law that required all cars to carry at least one bale of hay. It was initially written for horse-drawn carriages.
Okay.
21. If you're planning a home improvement project that requires wood planks and you live in London, just remember it's illegal to carry planks across pavement. Good luck.
What?
20.
How would you transport them? I have to look that up. London wooden planks, pavement, illegal. A plank of wood must not be carried along a pavement. It can only be moved if it is being unloaded from a vehicle or taken into a building. This law dates back to medieval times when carts were often overloaded and the wood would fall off, posing a danger to pedestrians. Okay, that makes sense then.
20. After 8 a.m., it's illegal to beat or shake any carpet, rug, or mat in the street. 19. Thanks to the Metropolitan...
That can't still be a thing. Beating the dust off rugs and carpets in the street in London has been illegal since 1839. You can shake your doormat, but only before 8 a.m. in the morning. What? Surely they don't enforce that, right?
19. Thanks to the Metropolitan Police Act 1839, if you annoy passengers or inhabitants with flying a kite, you'll be fined £500, which is about 562 euros.
You can hurt somebody with a kite. Those things can be dangerous. They go fast, and sometimes they'll just dive straight down. Hurt somebody. This is not a weird British law. This makes sense. Thousands of people die from kite accidents every year.
18. Think twice before asking a stranger for change. According to the Vagrancy Act 1824, if you need change and ask a stranger for some, it's considered begging, and you could end up in the House of Correction.
Does he mean just like, I need 4 quarters for $1? Like that kind of change? Or just straight up begging for money? Wow.
17. Be careful how you handle salmon. According to the Salmon Act 1986, it's illegal to handle fish in a suspicious circumstance.
I've heard that one.
16. If you plan to go to a fancy party, don't dress up as a soldier or seaman. According to the Seamen's and Soldiers' False Characters Act 1906, it's illegal to pretend to be part of the armed forces.
That's not a weird law. That makes sense. There's in the States you're not allowed to impersonate a cop. You can still dress up like one, like for Halloween, but if you like drive a cop car or drive a car that's made up to look like a cop car with a real looking police uniform, yeah, that's illegal. You can't do that. Pretty sure, right? Impersonating a cop in US. Although it is generally not considered a crime to dress up as a police officer for Halloween for fun or for harmless pranks, it is a crime to identify yourself as an officer of the law, to purposefully deceive other individuals and gain advantage through such deceit. The British thing makes it easy, though. You just can't wear that. You just can't wear that uniform. That makes it clear and easier to enforce, I bet.
15. Thanks to the Library Offenses Act of 1898, you cannot gamble or use abusive or obscene language in a library. 14. Singers, songwriters, and street bards will be sad to hear it's illegal to sing a profane or obscene song in public. 13. Many of you likely won't have this problem, but if you're ever visiting Parliament, don't wear armor. That's also illegal according to the 1313 statute forbidding bearing of armor.
I think
12.
I heard that.
Compliments of the Town Police Clauses Act 1847, if you keep your pigs outside your house without the proper fencing, you'll be subject to a £1,000 fine. 11.
That makes
Don't
sense.
even think of singing happy birthday to a friend.
That makes sense. Y'all, we don't want pigs just running around the city, right? Keep your pigs pinned up and feed them well and pet them to sleep. Give them hoof massages.
11. Don't even think of singing happy birthday to a friend in public. Otherwise, you'll have to pay a fee. It's copyrighted after all. 10.
I have heard that the song Happy Birthday was copyrighted by these two women, but I think they've since passed away or they sold it off to someone else. And so in a restaurant in the US, if you have like a birthday celebration, a lot of restaurants will offer that the staff comes to your table and sings Happy Birthday, but they don't sing Happy Birthday song. They sing like Happy Birthday. They sing a different Happy Birthday song. Who owns Happy Birthday song? Warner Chappell Music owns it now. Yo, Warner Brothers is everywhere. Well, I didn't know that. 10. It's illegal for your common pet dog to mate with a royal pet dog. So, if by chance you meet the queen, make sure your dogs don't get frisky. Something about that doesn't feel right. There's a layer of exclusivity there that makes me uncomfortable. If my dog wants to hump your corgi, I'm going to let him do it. I'm not going to stop him. And that's how I become part of the royal family. 9. While this law is no longer active, it was once illegal for a lady to eat chocolate on a public transport. 8. At one time... What? But a man could. Why is that? An obscure 19th century English law made it illegal for women to eat chocolate after getting on a bus, though this is not known to exist today. Why? How did that happen? Who started that? The thing I just read said that was not verifiable. I don't understand why. I'm not able to verify that one. I didn't find anything other than these little blurbs saying that that was a thing. But I also found something where a journalist tried to look into it and she couldn't find it. For a lady to eat chocolate on a public transport. 8. At one time, every Englishman from the ages of 17 to 69 was required to keep and practice with a longbow. This wasn't repealed until 1960. I'm okay with that law. 7. All males over the age of 14 are required by law to practice longbow for at least 2 hours per week. And apparently, if you live in York, it is permissible to shoot a Scotsman with a bow and arrow. Just make sure it isn't on Sunday. Wow. Oh man, what was that rule? It was in another video. I just saw it. Something like if you have a bow and arrow, or if you're an archer, you get certain rules don't apply to you because they want you to be practicing archery because they're so important to the military. But I don't remember what it was. Dang it. 7. All unmarked swans belong to the queen, and any attempt to eat them is considered illegal. I just learned that 6.
in another video. Yeah. Someone may be fined up to £1,000 if they hang up their laundry to dry across a street.
£1,000. I feel like people do that all the time though. Like there's nearly 1.5 million tenants across the UK are not allowed to display clothing outside as they are restricted by their rental contracts, research has found. A Right to Dry campaign has been launched to lend outdoor space to renters so they can dry their laundry outside. The Right to Dry campaign. I feel like I've seen photos of people hanging their clothes out to dry all the time. Like across an alleyway, like that. That's a familiar image. Like in New York, they do it all the time, I think. Or they used to. Anyway, yeah, that's a weird one. 5. Jumping the ticket queue at a subway isn't just rude in London, it's illegal. So stay in line and wait your turn. I lived in New York for a couple years, and like the third or fourth day that I was there, I was walking through the subway turnstile to get to the train, and there were like two or three people in front of me, and we were kind of it was packed, so there was sort of a line or a queue, if you will. And it got up to my turn to put my thing in, and this old guy just ran up and he like skipped me, and I was like, "Hey, what the hell, man?" And he looked at me and he said, "How long have you lived in New York?" I just thought, oh, he's right. I guess there's no line. And the people I was behind were just probably tourists. But yeah, New Yorkers just, there's no line for the turnstile. You just go. But I know British folks are all about that queuing. Queuing does make me feel more peaceful. But in New York, they don't like queues.
4. Hats off to Edward VI for this one. Anyone breaking an egg on the sharp end could end up in the stocks for 24 hours. 3. Edward VI.
What? Is this some mad king's personal pet peeve? It is illegal to crack a boiled egg at the sharp end. Although this sounds like something I may have made up, this law does appear in various lists of strange statutes. Most account attribute to it another tutor, Edward VI, but there's no record of it ever actually existing. Okay, that one's disputed then. That sounds like, yeah, Mad King stuff, or just urban legend.
3. Edward VI also had a thing about socks. He enacted a law saying it's illegal to stand sockless within 100 yards of the Queen. 2. If you put a postage stamp...
That's not the weirdest, but that is weird. Maybe it's an odor thing. Maybe they're just trying to maintain a civilized atmosphere for the Queen. I get it. But illegal? Why is that? What if the Queen had a foot fetish and he was trying to keep her simmered down? It is illegal to stand within 100 yards of the reigning monarch without wearing socks? Oh, is it illegal? Failure to wear socks is just one of the fantastically bizarre range of claims made about British law, which are examined and mostly debunked in the Law Commission's legal oddities document. So, okay, that may have been a thing before, but it's not now. You can now see the Queen without socks. So that one's kind of debunked.
List within 100 yards of the Queen. 2. If you put a postage stamp bearing the Queen's image upside down on a letter, it's considered treason.
I've heard that.
1.
But it's not really.
This is considered the most absurd law by UK citizens. Apparently, it's illegal to die while in Parliament since it's a royal palace and you would be required to have a state funeral. So, what's the most absurd law you've ever gotten in trouble for? Let us know in the comments below, or tweet your answer to us at list25.
I don't think I've gotten in trouble for any of those things. A few of those I've heard before. A few of those we debunked together today. But yeah, those are pretty weird. I keep learning stuff about British culture every day. This is amazing. So has anyone ever died in Parliament? Oh, this has a top 10 of its own. Top 10 most ridiculous British laws named. In Liverpool, it is illegal for a woman to be topless except working as a clerk in a tropical fish store. In Scotland, if someone knocks on your door and requires the use of your toilet, you must let them enter. In the UK, a pregnant woman can legally relieve herself anywhere she wants, including a policeman's helmet. I don't think that's true. I think we debunked that. The head of any dead whale found on the British coast automatically becomes the property of the king. And the tail of the queen. All right? It is illegal not to tell the taxman anything you do not want him to know. Wait, it is illegal not to tell the taxman anything you do not want him to know, but legal not to tell him information you do not mind him knowing. If you don't want the taxman to know something, you have to tell him. But if you want him to know it, you don't have to tell him. Okay. In the city of York, it is illegal to murder a Scotsman within the ancient city walls, but only if he's carrying a bow and arrow. Oh, it's legal. Wow. In France, it is illegal to name a pig Napoleon. Man, the French love Napoleon. And I did a couple of videos about Napoleon, and I found out that British folks do not like Napoleon. They do not like him at all. Fascinating. Some of these I heard of before, some of them I haven't, some of them we debunked. Well, still, it was a really interesting video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Later.